speakers are from Cleveland. They're going to talk about a billboard campaign they recently had. I think you had 11 billboards?
Yes, we did.
Okay. And Marni Taborski, Mark Taborski, and Sam Salerno. Okay.
Thank you very much, Lon, and thank you, MOA, for inviting us here today. Obviously, we were going to come anyway for the great food, but thank you for allowing us to speak. So I'm actually going to speak on behalf of the Northern Ohio Freethought Society, which is a group that was founded in 2012, November of 2012. We were officially voted in by the FFRF, the Freedom from Religion Foundation national organization, in February of 2013. And the billboard campaign actually kind of came about during some conversations we were having. From the very inception of the group, we had our first meeting in November of that same year that we were first founded. And obviously the subject of raising money comes up. And we were talking about all the ideas that we had for building the group and everything that we wanted to do. And the billboards, of course, came up because everybody who is a member of NOFS, which is like our near and dear term, has to be a member of FFRF first. You have to be a current paid member. So everybody knew about these billboards, the billboard campaign that the national organization runs, and we were actually, as we found out later, the 10th city to do this campaign. But in order to do that, obviously, we needed money, again. We didn't have any money, so we voted in charging dues for the group, but then we decided we had to have a fundraiser. So in October, on October 21st of 2013, we had a fundraiser with Annie Laurie Gaylor, who is the co-president of FFRF. She was our speaker, and we had it at a beautiful venue, Chinese buffet restaurant out near us. About 60 people, actually not about 60 people, exactly 60 people showed up. We had raffles, we had books, we had signed copies of books. Thank you, Sam. We had lots of fun stuff going on, raised a lot of money. The dues from the members also helped us raise some money. And for every member of NOFS, we get rebated by the national organization $5. So they also pitched in the check. When we were first discussing doing the billboards, there was some concern about them because we were like, okay, billboards are actually not cheap, and we can't pay for them ourselves. But when we found out that FFRF is actually paying for them, they were just asking for donations from us. We're like, cool, we can actually do this. So after many, many, many emails back and forth with Annie Laurie Gaylor and myself, the logistics started to come together, and we started to formulate a plan of how to get the billboards. It ended up being 9 Cleveland billboards and 2 Akron billboards, and we were very, very proud of the Akron SSA for participating in the campaign. There were 6 students from Akron SSA, 3 on one billboard and 3 on another. And I believe Mark has some pictures of the billboards that he can send around to anybody who'd like to see them. All the billboards are just of neighborhood people, regular, everyday people, with their own slogans, some positive message that is near and dear to us. Something either about our atheism or about how we feel about life. I'll give you just one really quick example. Mark and I were on one billboard, and all it said was, "We are awed by nature, not the supernatural." And so Sam's, see, what was Sam? Oh yeah, we can pass this around, I guess. Sam's was, "I am not immortal, just a caring mortal."
That's right.
Or not immortal, just a caring mortal. And Sam actually was what had the most traffic of any of our billboards. He was on the busiest street ever. He had probably about 5,000 cars a day, I would say. So he was very proud of that. We're very proud of that too. But anyway, the logistics were kind of interesting because we had to get photos taken. Obviously, the photos have to be certain lighting, you know, done by a certain person in a certain way, and we had to get the photographer. We had to actually find one. And Annie Laurie kept telling me in every email, she's like, well, you know, all these groups have their photography donated. I'm like, okay, I don't think we're going to have that donated. So we actually ended up spending about $570 for the photography. And we also ended up donating $440 to the campaign. So we spent a lot of money, but obviously I think it was well spent, very well spent. But the photographer, everything was professionally done. FFRF provides the banner. They do all of that stuff, and also the billboards have to be, they do what's called a remnant program. So the billboards are what's left over from what other people don't contract. They were up for a month, May to June, and they were on what's called eco-vinyl. That's what FFRF uses. It's just, it could be put anywhere, and it's a little bit cheaper to do. So like Ron said, there were 11 billboards, 9 in Cleveland, 2 in Akron, and it was just, it's basically a neighborhood point of view. They're not along the freeway. FFRF does not allow that. Number one, the remnant program doesn't allow that. Number two, if you're going to have a neighborhood billboard, you're not going to have one on the side of a freeway. We're going to have it in the cities, in the towns, near the colleges. That's where it's going to be. That's going to get the most personal point of view. And Mark is actually going to talk about the media attention we got. And I would actually really, because I forget all this stuff when I start talking and I forget all the details. I know them, they're in here somewhere. But if people want to ask me some questions on anything having to do with the logistics, I'll be more than happy to answer the questions. I'm pretty good with having to do that instead. So, yes?
How much does the billboard actually cost? I mean, what is FFRF paying for the actual billboard?
We don't know.
Oh, you don't know?
No, they didn't tell us, and actually we don't really want to know. I mean, they're not cheap. They're not cheap. The range that I kind of got from some of the emails is about 4,000
per billboard?
No, and not per. It would be about 4,000 for what, 10? I think it was 450 a piece. 450 a piece?
Judging by, we did have one Cleveland billboard by the United Coalition of Reason back at the end of 2009, and it was one of the full size. I think it's 24 by 48. I know that one was like $4,700, and it was a pretty good location along I-480, but it wasn't, you know, absolute primo. So I was just guessing that maybe these were, do you remember the size by any chance?
These were poster size. That's the other thing. These have to be poster size.
No, they were they were like
they were poster
size.
They have to be.
I was guessing of like $1,600 or $1,700 a piece. I was just kind of guessing at that. I don't think so.
I
Okay.
don't think so. There were certain things that they did.
I don't think it's that much,
Maybe
actually.
because we got
But
so many of them.
But I'm pretty sure we voted in, because we have voting members and non-voting members of the group. We actually voted in donating $400 to the campaign. I ended up asking Randy and Sam if they wanted to give up some of their money for t-shirts so I could pitch it in for the donation, so we ended up donating $440 to the campaign. You'll get your t-shirt eventually, I promise.
I'll get over it.
We make them for free, but that's a whole other story. So anyway, yes, so they have to be poster size. That was the other thing I forgot to mention. See, and that's why I want people to ask questions, so I remember this stuff. Poster size is part of their campaign. They don't want to do the full size because then you get into major bucks.
Yeah.
Major bucks. Anybody else have any questions? Please.
What was the billboard company?
Clear Channel.
Clear Channel?
Yeah, we went through Clear Channel, and that was thanks to Sam. Sam was the one who got the first contact. And if anybody wants to do any billboards, the name is Scott Best at Clear Channel. And just tell him you know me. No, he's really cool. He's really cool. Anybody else have any questions before we go on to media attention?
Sam, you want to do yours? Yeah.
Or Sam. Sam's going to do his. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey everybody, and thank you all the Mid-Ohio Atheists for having this. This is the third annual one?
Sixth.
Sixth, holy smokes. Yeah, all right, so I guess for my part of the whole billboard thing, I just kind of wanted to give you guys an outlook of what we were thinking about at the time we started the whole billboard campaign. I guess, you drive down the road and you see crosses and Jesus this and Jesus that, and it was just
Hell is real!
So I, for me personally, I was like, the idea of the billboard campaign came up, and as soon as it came up, I was just totally adamant about, yes, we have got to get our message across. So that was the idea. As Marni said, we all voted in for it. We had no idea what or how we were going to do, but we all stuck together and put our minds together and did the research. As Marni said, I called up Cleartrade. It was actually me and another member, Sharon Woznicki, who helped on the researching for the billboards. And but we did it. We got it out there. We got the number out there, and like at that time, we still didn't know what was going on. And fortunately for us, Marni, talking to Annie Laurie Gaylor back and forth for, I don't know, days and days.
Excuse me, weeks and months.
Finally realized that, hey, we can really do this, and we were very excited about it. So we decided at least we could put a fundraiser together to try to get some money together for it, which I think we raised about $600 or something, Marn?
Yeah.
$600.
Yeah.
So, as my part of the fundraiser goes, I thought, well, how about a book raffle? And so I tried to call, get a hold of all the prominent writers at the time. I was fortunate enough to get a hold of Jerry Coyne, who did a signed copy for me for Why Evolution's True. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with Jerry Coyne's blog, Why Evolution is True, but if you look at his blog, you see he loves cats. So Jerry Coyne signed the book, and he drew a billboard on the book with a cat on it that said, "This is what a cat atheist looks like." So somebody got to win that book. I got Dan Barker and Annie Laurie, of course. They sent I think 9 books to me, all signed. I think Joe Nickel was one of them who signed a book for me. And I mean, I did the best I could. I tried to get a hold of Richard Dawkins, but that was seemingly impossible. But I probably got about 20 books or something like that. There was actually an author at the fundraiser who brought 2 of his books and signed them right there for us to raffle off. So that was a successful raffle. The dinner was a successful fundraiser, and I think overall for our first fundraiser, I think we were pretty happy about it. So after that, as I said, Marty's been talking to Annie Laurie, and we finally got things going on the road, and they got a hold of Scott Best, FFRF did, and so we were pretty proud of this so far. Things were going good, a bunch of atheists are going to be on a bunch of billboards. We got, so we had 11 billboards. We got the Akron Secular Student Alliance in on with us. They came in on with us, and we had a couple of billboards for them in Akron. 6 of the students all together. And we got the pictures done, and we got the billboards up, and they lasted for about a month. Was it May 5th to June 5th?
Yep.
So,
Well,
something like that. And it was a pretty proud moment. I think our main idea, again, from the beginning, was to get our message out, to let people know there are atheists out there, but not that we were just out there, but we're not the the evil mongers that some of these ministers are trying to make us out to be. So we all had pretty good positive messages. You see some of the billboards are really controversial, but if you look at if you're looking at ours, you see most of those, all those messages really are very positive messages for the atheist humanist community. So that part myself, I'm pretty proud of. That a Christian can't come by and read that and go, oh, they're haters, those evil, So it gave us a really positive look for our community. I think that was the best part of it. I don't know how many people called, got a hold of the Northern Ohio Freethought Society after they said that and said, hey, I want to join, but people have been joining and people have been slowly coming into our communities. I think that's the one thing in the end I'd like to try to promote for all of us, is try to build our community and put a positive outlook towards us out there. We're all good people. I personally, in any of these meetups that I've ever gone to, I've never met atheist, humanist, agnostic, whatever you may call yourself, that I dislike. You're all wonderful people, and I'm so grateful to be part of this whole community. So thank you all very much.
Thank you. Mark DeBoyce.
Hi, everybody. Of course, any kind of campaign like this, you want to get as much publicity as possible, and we were pretty fortunate. Within the first week, Hemant Mehta over at the Friendly Atheist put up a post about it, and so Richard Dawkins' Facebook picked up on that, and it got a lot of comments, a lot of likes. And I think it was, the press release went out, the billboards had been up for like one day. It took a little bit for the local media to latch on, but I'm going to say it was within a week. No, I'm sorry, it was the second day. The reporter from the Akron Beacon Journal, her name is Colette Jenkins, award-winning journalist, called, and I got a chance to talk to her at length, and she was especially interested in talking to the Akron University students, which she did. She had a sit-down interview and went over and had a picture of the students in front of their billboard. That ended up becoming, it couldn't have been a better article. We were very fortunate. In fact, one group member said it was a home run. It could not have been better. You can still see it up online. It's Ohio.com is the Akron Beacon Journal's online magazine. But we also got the Cleveland Plain Dealer, Tom Farron, the religion reporter, did contact us. And ironically, it wasn't a direct, by a direct route. Okay, he was sent the press release along with a lot of other press contacts. But Robert McLean, who is here today, where's Robert?
Right there.
Oh, right in front of me. Robert is actually the one who contacted Mr. Farron and basically said, did you see these, or did you hear about these billboards? And for the reason being, and I did not know at the time, Robert was already a member of a group that I've been with for a long time. I did not know of his story and his son's story of basically a two-person atheist battle going on or a two-person against everybody else battle going on in the city of Brunswick. So it was through Robert that Tom Farron picked up on the story, and he did a very brief thing in the Plain Dealer. It wasn't even in a lot of the print editions, unfortunately, and he keeps promising that he's going to do a bigger, more comprehensive story on non-believers in Northeast Ohio. Hasn't delivered on it yet, but I'm pretty sure he's going to. So other press, well, obviously FFRF just went nuts on it, and in the Freethought Today, from what's the May issue, I gather, yeah, we were at cover and second, third page, and pass that around maybe. On their social media, on FFRF's Facebook page, I was afraid people were going to get tired of us, because man, they were just like wham, wham, wham. But then, we kept on sending them pictures too, like we got go out and pose with the billboards. And a lot of supportive, obviously on that social media, we're going to have a lot of supportive comments and everything. So, how about negativity? Well, it so happens that I printed out a whole sheet of written choice negative things. It's still lying in the printer tray at home. Forgot to grab it, but I remember the gist. It's for the most part. I got to backtrack for a minute. This obviously was not the first billboard campaign in in Ohio. Okay, FFRF did the Out of the Closet campaign in Columbus in 2011. And I believe that was only the second one. I think it was the second one after their hometown of Madison, Wisconsin. Was anybody here in that campaign at all? That was 2011, FFRF Out of the Closet campaign. Essentially the same campaign that this was. And they had a lot of fuss. Dylan Galos, I think that's how you say his last name. His billboard was on part of a church property that they were using for commercial purposes, and the church made him take it down and move it, but it had a happy ending because FFRF found out that they were supposed to be paying tax on that part of their land that was leased for commercial use. So anyway, that was, I believe, spring of 2011. Also, arguably, the most fuss of any billboard campaign yet in Ohio was the good old Mid-Ohio Atheists, and you were refused, the billboard company refused.
They canceled our contract.
Canceled the contract. And still you did manage to get a couple up, though.
We got 3 up with a different company about 6 months later.
And if I remember right, I can't remember the name of the paper down here, but I saw some of the stuff online. You guys are catching all kind of crap.
Mansfield News Journal.
Okay. So, I mean, you know, we expected negativity, but the Cleveland-Akron area is very, very moderate. You know, we didn't really expect anything real terrible, and we really didn't get anything really terrible. The plain dealer comments section, that was the main thing that I had printed out, and you've got the typical stuff. Okay, these people, you know, are insufferable. They worship themselves. You know, they put themselves on a pedestal, you know, that kind of stuff, which is pretty easy.
What was the Channel 5? Remember Channel 5 News guys? That one guy? I can't remember.
Oh, yeah, he said we were a scourge.
Never my favorite. Society.
Yeah.
My favorite.
You know, when I watched that again, though, because they didn't even have, well, I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but TV5, so we did get some TV. It was the top story at 11 p.m. on, it was sometime in mid-May there. And, well, I think they really needed a controversial piece just because it was a slow news day, because like, the difference between like the Beacon Journal article and the Plain Dealer, like those, they were journalists. They were really, really interested in what we had to say. TV5, the interview went well, the story was good enough, but then like they didn't even have the right video online for like 2 days. I went to look, people I couldn't see the news last night. So I went to look at the TV5 website, and it's like a jumble of footage with no sound. I'm like, what is this? You know, it wasn't a news story. So that's what made me think, all right, this was just a quickie. But still, it was pressed. Back to the negativity. So
It was the first story though when it came out.
yeah, it was the top story. Yeah, 11 o'clock news that evening, which was very cool. Yeah, so it was still it was worth
Yeah,
it.
my HR director saw me on there. Oh, I saw you on TV. I'm like, well, I'm glad I asked for permission first.
So in the Plain Dealer online comment section, you know, and this happened on a few different in a few different places online. Like people made comments about our appearance. I think on the PD something said because in the PD article that was Marni and my billboard that was pictured. Somebody was like, look at these two. You know, they're like the type that like never got any love when they were a child or something. Like, look, you know, they're not exactly GQ material or something. No, something like, you know, we were like, you know, like come on, you know, we're comfortable enough in our own skins that something like that is, come on. The pedestal thing came up twice. Okay, now if you look at some of these messages, I can't quite figure out how they get this, but there was the typical, like, you liberals are always trying to ram your ideology down everybody's throats. I mean, well, you've seen some of it. I mean, they're the most harmless you can get, really. I don't understand that. But Joanna was one of the people pictured. Longtime member of the Cleveland Freethinkers group, and she's a member of NOFS too. She's pictured with her 2 sons. She caught a lot of crap for this. Her quote is, "Life is naturally beautiful and meaningful." Joanna Willian Channing, Cleveland, loving family, atheists. So she added her 2 young sons in as part of the atheists, and she caught some crap for that on the TV5 Facebook stuff. She caught a little criticism even on the Friendly Atheist on the initial post about the Billboard campaign. Like, oh, I don't think it's wrong that she calls her sons atheists. I don't understand it. I mean, I remember myself, being 5 or 6 years old, and actually thinking about that. I come from a non-religious family, so I should make that clear right off the bat. But I remember thinking, actually thinking about it. It's not like my mother or father just said, don't believe in God. I mean, I remember being able to consider it at that age and actually weigh it. Now, these kids are very, very small, but still, I don't think that she deserved that kind of...
I don't think she meant to put it that way.
Yeah, she didn't mean it exactly that.
Talking to her about it, she just meant to say she was an atheist, she has a family.
Right.
As a family person, she was an atheist.
Yeah, well, apparently a lot of people thought that was wrong. Not a lot in the atheist community, mostly more like on the online, like I
They're
said,
not
TV.
brought up with religion, of course they're atheists.
Yeah, well, that's the main, yeah, exactly. So...
Indoctrinated the wrong way.
Someone on the website actually accused her of indoctrination. I jumped into the conversation and pointed out to the bozo that said that. Actually, yeah, because whoever it was talking about their children, and I pointed out to this person who had admitted that they were Christian and she was raising her children to be Christian. Joanna had actually gone on and said that, in her own defense, had posted that she was actually exposing her children to all the different religions and letting them make up their own mind. And so I pointed out to this other person that actually it's you who's indoctrinating. I said, look up the word indoctrination in the dictionary. Indoctrination is when you expose someone to only one viewpoint to the exclusion of all others. It's you who are indoctrinating your children, not Joanna, because she's exposing them to all the religions and letting them make up their own mind.
Well said, Randy. Thank you.
Yeah. Woo.
So, all in all, there was a lot of positivity and really not that much negativity. There was only one comment that I came across that I'm really not the type of person to get too hysterical over hardly, anything. But I saw this comment and I started thinking about it, and as I kept thinking about it, I have known that that they dedicated themselves to humanist causes. Those 2 people, decades, were all different things, and they're 2 of the most wonderful people that I've ever met. And so that one really made me feel. So I unloaded. I had a policy for myself. I'm not going to engage too much online. None of us did, really. You were really calm.
Yeah.
I was too. I think I only made like 2 comments, but this was one of them. So I was thinking about it, just fuming, and I just basically, and you had to go by Facebook. It was one of those news sites where you got to log on by Facebook to comment. I just said, you know what? I said, if through the lens of your religion, you would think that these two wonderful people would deserve, eternal punishment in hell, just for not believing, then, I wanted to say to hell with your God. But I said to heck with your God. So, anyway, that was probably the worst thing for me. That was just, and they were unfazed by it.
Well, you could have said it. You could have just said to Hades with your God.
Yeah, that would have been funnier.
It might have gone over the head a little bit.
So,
Probably would have.
Yeah.
and once again, it's nothing that atheists everywhere haven't faced, but it was them. It just really, really made me mad. So. That was about the extent of it. We got Cleveland Plain Dealer, Akron Beacon Journal, which are the area's 2 largest newspapers. We did get 1 TV station. Didn't get any. I was surprised we didn't get NPR. I thought maybe they would contact us, but didn't. So overall, we were very, very happy with the campaign. If I could think, was there something we could have done better? I mean.
No.
That was a great positive
I don't think so. I think it was very positive. Being as it that NOF's the membership in FFRF national is required, so there's $40 for a single right there to join NOFs. And the wording on our website at the time, and then there's $20 for dues if you want to have voting rights as a member of NOFs. So that's another $20. That money issue was kind of prohibitive. We didn't get a huge amount of joinees, being a group that actually cost something to belong to. However, donations, for instance, did you mention the big one before?
Oh, no, I
Well,
didn't.
okay, so,
Yeah.
well, we didn't get in membership, we got in donations, and one extremely, they must have been very, very happy with the billboard campaign. A local FFRF member donated us $1,000 just a couple weeks ago. Anyway, that's about it. Am I forgetting anything? I don't think so. So, any questions for any of the three of us? We're open to questions, yeah?
Sure. Have you gotten any constructive feedback from other humanist or atheist groups about billboards being the means, the route to go to communicate these ideas?
Well, about billboards being the route to
The mode in which to communicate.
get out there. Not really. I think most would agree that it is certainly one way. There's a bunch of ways to do it. Charitable outreach type things is a great way to.
Can I interject just 1 second? I don't need it. Everybody knows I have a big mouth. I have actually heard from a couple different people very recently that billboard campaigns are a PR stunt. They are not for advertising. That is all they are for, and it's actually true. They're just to get a blast, in your face all of a sudden and then gone. So that's my 2 cents.
Well, to go back to the money versus free group thing, okay, now like I said, the membership of the Northern Ohio Freethought Society, which is the chapter of FFRF, we did not get a huge boost in membership thanks to donations. However, when we did the Neocore campaign, which was the United Coalition of Reasons, a single billboard, and came back in 2009, the free groups in our area experienced a huge jump. We got, the Clean Breathing group got 60 new members within 2 weeks. That was just from one highway billboard. So, is it advertised? I think it can be advertised.
I think the difference is, again, as you pointed out, was money. You don't have to pay anything to be in the Cleveland.
Right.
Right. That's the biggest thing.
Any other questions?
Also, that campaign was to try to let other atheists in our area know that they could come out and that there was a community for them to go to. As Mark said, it doesn't seem like we got a lot of people signing up after that, but that really was one of the ideas it was for. People are slowly coming in now, very slowly.
Yeah, and one of our members was mentioned before, Sharon Woznicki. She's on that one that we still have yet to pass out, and she's on the other one with The World Is in Our Hands, whoever has that one. She has a couple friends who actually did tell her that they came out to family and friends for the first time ever because of these billboards. So she was very happy about that. I think one of the ladies was in her 80s, and she has never come out, and she finally did to everybody. So it's kind of a proud moment when you hear that happening. So it's not a question of quantity in terms of getting members. Ooh, we're just getting bigger. And it's a question of quality. How people are actually seeing this and what's happening because of it on the back end. I mean, I'm sure there's a ton that we're not seeing. There's a ton of stuff happening. I mean, and you hear little tidbits. You hear comments from people, little things that they're saying, like, wow, I didn't know these people were here. That's kind of cool. And even people who say, I'm not one, but this is really, good of them to do. And obviously we've heard from several people, wow, you guys are really brave. To seriously put your names out there, full names, cities, faces. Yeah. So, it's good to hear that. That's really what it's all about.
And I hear it all. I do hear that all the time. I've seen your billboard. I'll see somebody I haven't seen for months or whatever. I seen your billboard.
Yeah.
That was,
Yeah.
2 guys I worked with came and wanted to talk to me not about themselves but about family members. One was about his wife. He saw both these people had seen it in the plain dealer, and one guy was like, "Yeah, my wife doesn't want to talk to you." And then for my foreman, actually, he said his son. I had no idea. If he hadn't seen the article, he would have never told me. Just out of the blue, he's like, "My son's a total atheist. I have to watch. He has to watch what he says around company sometimes."
Yeah, but true. That's what we're trying to stop, that stigma, that's the other thing. Is leaving the atheist stigma in society.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you very much.